G'day, welcome back to Oxygen Not Included as we continue to, I guess, store natural gas. So, it's been a little while since I played this last time. I've just had a weird run of games, and I've got a holiday coming up too, which is also going to sort of put a break in this for a brief moment. Now, there were comments on the previous one. Firstly, the what were we saying? There was a room. Random polluted oxygen I have in my natural gas geyser room. Was from the something that wasn't picked up. So let's sweep up everything in that room, get rid of it, because that seems to be what was causing polluted oxygen. Alright, cool. Thank you for that. Rocket bunker door is locked open because the cable ran somewhere. It is locked open. Oh, we're okay for now. Cool. And installing transit tubes south, maybe. Rather than... Okay, so then the other one was just pushing oil down the bottom here. This oil. So the suggestion was maybe build a wall and then just pump out of the from the wall. Which I think sort of works as a short-term, like, essentially a quicker way of solving this and not risking losing stuff. So what I could potentially do would just be that I go... take some tiles and just build a line. What we would do first, I guess, is build the pump. So build a liquid pump at the bottom point, which would be there. We would then build some conductive wire that would run it. There. And then we would build a tube. Tube being the technical word for a liquid pipe. I think we run that too. Up here. So that it's sort of above the, like where there's actually free space. I'll just chuck a vent. So the idea is that we'll wait till this is all built so that the dupes are out of here, and then once we're out of here, we're just going to block off this. Like, we could just put one square there, and this section's blocked out. I don't even know how they got down that gap. It doesn't look like where they can normally get to. So basically that'll just clear out, or that'll move all of this out of here, and then we can just block that off so that we sort of can retain all of this oil. I don't then know how we would be able to remove the pump. Possibly we can dig around this way, come into this thing, and then get in there and knock it out. I mean, that's a later date problem, that one. Now, with our rocket still being away, something that I'm eagerly awaiting to come back. One thing I was thinking about is that the amount of effort that's still got to go in the space program, and you can certainly correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels like it's a long time before we hit that secondary achievement of getting to the furthest point in the universe. Like, it doesn't feel like that's something that's coming anytime soon. So but I don't think that there's much in the way of interesting setup that would take place between now and then. It would just be me sort of waiting for rockets to come back and then like filling them again and then sending them and so on. Which makes me wonder if this series is getting close to its sort of, I wouldn't necessarily say end, but at least a hiatus to sort of take a break from it after, what, a year and a half, 2 years of of it going. And I was trying to think, if that is the case, what would be the best logical point to sort of reach to call victory? And I was thinking it was research, that the goal is complete all the research, because it seems like that's still going to take me a few more rocket trips, potentially give me a better gauge of at what point, like how close I am to sort of getting to the edge of the universe, which, like I said, still doesn't feel like it's anywhere near. But let me know, what do you think in terms of wrapping it up, in terms of what I should sort of set myself as a goal? Fun story, completely different. So what do you say? Completely different, but same vibe. I remember when I used to play World of Warcraft, and I was reached a point where I was like, I want to stop playing this game, but I need to give myself an end goal to sort of feel like I've concluded here. And in the end, my conclusion was, I was like, all right, there's a particular set of armor that I want. It was like the tier 2 PvP set. This is old. And so I just set that. And so I actually felt like even though that game sort of like essentially went on forever, I felt like I had actually achieved my final goal and could call it a day, and then spent, I think, a while before I went back and got back on the World of Warcraft drug again. So that's, I think, a similar thing that I'd be looking for this guy. I think that I've milked as much value as I can out of like learning all the different aspects of this guy. But with that in mind, the suggestion that I should build a tube system to get them down here, I'm all for that, because that's something that we haven't ever used in its like insane size. So let's look at making a transit tube system. Let's put it here, I think. That's going to be just permanently underwater, isn't it? Let's go here instead. So if we then run... Now it can't turn that fast, can it? Or can it? Can't go over the ladders, which is also going to be a problem here. So let's cancel that for a second and just work out a path that we actually want to follow to get up. Basically, I think we could wipe out this pole, and we could put this guy here. So if we say went transit tube access there, we can also then say deconstruct buildings. All of those are unneeded. And let's say goodbye to that pole. I also think that what we would then want to do is build a ladder across here. And build a wall in that section. Then we build our transit access point here. Now, part of this was that this door was blocking the atmosphere from getting in here so that that guy could continue to pump. Now, at the moment, he's blocked anyway because we're still waiting for these to get built. Waiting for, I guess, what, the sandstone to get into place so that then we can sort of connect them. Okay. Now, the other question as well, I suppose, is how much plastic do we have? 10 tons. Very nice. And obviously we can't build straight up into that, actually. So, let's cancel this guy again. It really wants to be on this side of the right side of the ladders. So let's dig out that section there. And that section there. There's not really... Not sure there's any point that we need to keep these. Okay, so then we say transit tube. We go up, 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 cross, 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 cross. No, that's now too high. If only we had ladder system up there that would have allowed us to reach there. All right, we can rebuild. Cancel that one there. So you can see that we're already on about 7 tons of plastic here. Okay, and we can build 2 there. So what we will then do is we will copy our ladder. Build 2 short little ladders there to get that right. Plastic machine. That was this guy down here, wasn't it? What did it even need? Converts petroleum into raw plastic. So... Can't just move him, can I? No, that's not a thing in the game. So let's say deconstruct. That's petroleum, right? Yeah. So let's put our plastic. No, I don't remember what the machine was called. Was I only looking in those buildings? Did I delete it already? Refinement? Polymer. Let's put that guy there. Then what we can do is just put a second switch towards him. Still that one square that can't be reached, so let's copy one more of these, move them across there. Let's have a look at how the bottom half of this is going. Great, alright, so they cleared out that section there, so we'll cancel requests on them. Go transit access tube there. Then we will say transit tube straight up. Through that gap, which we'll have to clear. Cancel that. Go straight up through that gap. Just have to... Will this block their ability to walk across that gap? I can't remember if this is something that sort of is in the way or not. It's alright, so we'll him go to that point and then deconstruct. That's been built, so then we need to get him some electricity. And he needs gas output. What kind of gas do you make? That's our toxic gas straight down, so we can just go to that guy. We'll be also waiting on... Alright, these to get built over here. How are you going? We're just waiting on some sandstone. Assume that the further that a rocket goes, the longer we wait for it to come back. But it does seem like that is broken. Right, okay, so if we follow the pattern of this one, we drop it underneath the... beneath the build rather than on top of it. So that's now an unreachable build, so let's just build across there so that they can get that corrected and then delete that again. I guess there are a lot of building projects going on at the moment, so that is slowing down work over here. So let's amp up the priority of everything on this side. Because we do have our gas still blocked. Still a lovely constant flow of water. Water over here is really hot too. I suppose it's a geyser, so all the water we get from up there is boiling hot. Then it just falls into this pool here that's... I mean, this doesn't look that full, but when you see that all of this is waiting to roll into that as well, it's definitely a water supply we've got there. Okay. Power. You spared some expense on that power line. So much stuff being supplied by that one. Let's go for this one instead. We've got rid of that so we can continue our upward progress. I think that I'll cancel that. What I'll do instead is just go straight up there. Across and then straight. So what we probably need then is it's going to be a ladder that will go step, and then up, and then we'll dig out that and that. Probably, I'm gonna have to do something about this section down here too. We'll wait for that. Cross that bridge when we come to it. Lovely. Okay, so these guys have now all got this going. But let's have a look at what we can do here. We say did that, and then did that. Can we break? Basically, I just want to break that connection, but I don't want to break any of the squares. I know that people have said that there's an empty pipe, but I don't quite get how that works. Like, it would have to stay empty for a period. Like, it would almost be what I want to do is go to this guy and say disable building. Let's look at it this way. If we say disable that guy, and we will say emergency, I really want that guy disabled yesterday. And then what we do is make all these connections. Or we wait for someone to frantically get down there and turn that off. Zashcan. Great. Okay, so then if we look into the ventilation here, what we should see is basically just these back containers empty. And then we can delete. I mean, the whole thing should eventually empty. But I've got to wait now for those existing ones to sort of... Basically, these guys are going to just have to shift all of their gas up into the higher ones. So we'll focus on something else for a little while that's going on. Our wires are in process. They're working this down slowly. He needs power too. That red is just what's saying that my whole network is now currently overloaded. Why is that the case? It's this guy that's causing it, isn't it? I've put him on the wrong end of this thing. So let's say deconstruct that urgently. Copy that and replace that there. Yeah, that was silly. To me, it's just little end goes where is where you'd sort of like connect the major wires. Why? Makes no sense. Welcome back. Okay, so let's get that guy connected there. That one we can just say is a major priority, not a full-blown. I mean, the whole thing still looks nasty, but I think, again, hopefully it's just that cable there that's doing that. Let's put that one as a emergency priority too. Hopefully let's fix that. Yeah, there we go. I have to dig out that section there so we can see the pipe. Okay, so deconstruct that guy. Let's do it nice and quick too so he doesn't waste too much of my iron. And let's have a look at how these guys are going. Cool. So, gas-wise, we can say deconstruct that one. That's the fact that that's stopped means that guy's been removed. Back down here and say plumbing. This guy, gold. Yeah, so I think that we'll have to just extend this down to about there. As we've shifted this, we've unleashed the like this is now open to the rest of the world again. So what we probably want to do is just chuck in, say, a manual airlock there, the tile there, and then another manual airlock probably there. So I'm not sure if air will pass past a tube or if it blocks it out. Not that it's a major issue, it just means that this pump on the outside here will never be finished if all this other stuff keeps sucking into here, but I mean, I can't imagine he will be anyway. It's just more we're trying to get as much of that natural gas as we can. And speaking of the natural gas, we should be able to see that that guy is now clear, so that one's correct. We can now also do it with this one. This is the right block, isn't it? Yep. Gas pipe, deconstruct. 9 priority on that. I mean, it's a funny sort of give and take that, like, I'm impatiently like, come on, get through all this natural gas, but then at the same time, it's like, well, this is my storage. It's meant to last me like 70 days. Red flag if we're burning through it this fast. Seems like we've had a massive downturn in the amount of bowls we've got in there. So still reporting that we've got a couple of tons of plastic. I mean, we've got a whole bunch more of our work to go too. Yeah, steadily out some parts of it. Where are we going here? Cool. So that change, I guess, was enough to get the door open, or it just opened because they were the door's gone? Did you just smash through the doors? A rebel. Wow. One way to do it. Do I not have enough steel? Okay. Back to researching here. Close with that one, but then we've got a ton more to go here as well. Basically exactly the same amount there. We've got 2 rockets though. Really, I could probably be using this guy unless he's drained everything that he can actually reach. In which case, I imagine that he's not going to be much good to me. Some time out and about Meep. Alright, so that's sort of just moved to its resting place. Now, because of the way that this is working too, actually, I can get rid of that piece of gas pipe because nothing's in it. You see that one go nice and quick as well. you. And there we go. I mean, arguably, I don't even have to worry about this thing. Like, I could just leave it as is, because if that ever has the ability to move, like, what does it matter if it's opting to go up as opposed to through storage? Like, not really that big a drama. I think I can leave it. I think that it's better than just losing that small piece of natural gas. So let's enable that guy. Set it as a 9. End of the world. Surprised at how long it's taking anyone to be bothered getting down here and building that. Same goes for this guy. Maybe gold's just in short order. Yes, sir. Maybe I need to build more gold. Would that be from? Binary? Yeah. Let's make 2 ton. So that coal amount does really fluctuate. I think it was 13,000, sorry, 13 ton at the start. Now we're down to 7 again. It's really interesting that this guy's filling up, but of course that hasn't been built yet, so it's just... It'll just mean that they'll all suddenly shift again once someone comes down and gets 2 of them done. Both that one never got around to being built either. That one, so it's up their priority. Good to see that the power cable's getting done as the gold's being made. And how are we looking, engine? Not much. That's petroleum. Wrong guy. This guy. Oh, so he's ready to go. Alright, well, let's get Ari in there. Parts here, are they actually reachable? Let's build that like that just in case they're not. Well, with the start of this new day, I think we might call it there for this one. That tube is coming along quite nicely. These guys, alright, cool. Looks like they're finally moving along again. Lovely. Alright. Yeah, so any questions and comments, feel free to chuck them below. And until next time, catch you later. See ya.